Hey, it's dark outside. I'm very tired. I had a boxing fight. I already took a shower, and I was thinking, you know what? Actually, I wasn't thinking. I got recommended by a comment to do a video where you talk about. Well, I think this is what they meant. I don't really know. It was kind of confusing. Um, but they're my favorite characters in my top 10 favorite series of all time. I was like, that's a great idea. Or was it my favorite characters in my top in like my 5 out of 10 series? Because if it was, then that would have not been a great video idea. Because I don't really have much to say about that stuff, but I do have a lot to say about here. And honestly, this is just kind of an excuse to talk about my favorite series of all time. First, we have well, you're obviously gonna see my top 10 favorite manga of all time, but I want to say this first. I want to say like the actual series first before I get into the characters. My 10th favorite series of all time, and it'll probably change soon, cause I need to finish The Horizon, and then when I finish that, it'll probably go down. Is Blood on the Tracks. Blood on the Tracks is a great series. It's my 10th favorite series of all time. Who is my favorite character? This girl right here, Fukishi. Fukishi is my favorite character. Why? I just like her, man. I really just like her. I have no like reason why. She's just like a nice person, and she's not like like just like a poorly written nice person. She has flaws that are very apparent. Um, and she comes up from like a really bad background, but she's just like such a good person. She does make a lot of mistakes, but she's just like such a good person who wants to help help the main character. I forgot his name. I keep wanting to call him Ozaki because I finished Happiness, and the two main characters are kind of similar. Um, but I finished, but like she's just trying to help this kid so much, but she does it in such a wrong way. Um, and then like at the end when like he like leaves her or whatever to go with his mom or something, it's just heartbreaking. Like how that happens. Um, oh my god, I love Fukishi so much. I love their relationship. I love like Fukishi's such a great character. I cannot wait to finish this series. I know this series is gonna be amazing. I don't know if you can even look at that very well. Or can catch the light or something. Oh, fine. Sorry, it's very dark outside. That's why the quality of the video is not looking very good. But you know what I mean. I just love Fukishi as a character. Don't worry, when we get deeper into the volumes, I'll go more in depth. This is only my 10th favorite series of all time. It's not like anything crazy. But I still love this series all the way. Next volume, honestly, I just got volume 4 of the series. If it's good, this might change. My favorite character might change. It probably will be good. If I finish the series and the series is good, I think this is gonna be in like my top 5. It's at number 9 right now, but that's just because I haven't gotten too deep into it. I've only read the first 3 volumes, and I'm about to read the 4th. So, just spread with caution. At number 9, we have YU from The Boxer. Oh shit. Sorry. We have YU, not Caillou, you, from The Boxer. Why is this guy my favorite character? Out of all the characters, well, we haven't really gotten introduced to too many characters, but of all the characters, why is this guy my favorite? Well, I don't really like his character very much, because his character hasn't been explored very much yet. He's kind of just like a soulless guy. You can tell he's come from an awful background, just like, by the way. Like, there's like a scene where he like talks to a little kid, and he's just like, there will always be someone stronger than you. No matter how strong you become, if you get hit by a car, you will die. A lion can eat you. Like, bro, why? Just shut the fuck up. Why are you so mean to this, like, 7-year-old boy? Like, there's no reason to. Like, you can tell he's come from a bad upbringing. We do not know it yet, at least in the physicals. They probably say it, like, later on in the series. But at this point, we do not know his backstory at all yet. But I love what he stands for. He's the character that makes everyone else so rich and fulfilling. Like when we got into that one guy who had like the red spiky hair and was like talking about like he was like one of the best rookies or whatever, and his fighting style was awful and he was just made to be unlikable. But you basically gave that character meaning, if that makes sense. They didn't give him a tragic backstory. They didn't try to give him, like a father who didn't like him or something like that. They didn't try to make him like a sorrow character because he's not. But when you see, this type of character facing you and he's just like, this guy's so much better than me. How do I stop him? How do I block? How do I go like this? Like it is so heartbreaking to see because it's such a real emotion. It feels so real. That's what I love about this series. All the characters don't feel like characters in the boxing ring. When characters are talking outside of the boxing ring, it feels very manga-y, or I guess manhwa-y. It feels like I'm reading about characters. But I think that's on purpose, because when we get into the actual ring, all these characters have such complex and mixed emotions and just stuff that you can't even describe. And you can see other people talking this way or feeling this way. And it really gives like all the quote unquote villains like sequential backstory, like you can like relate and feel for the villains. They're not really villains. If you want to be honest, this guy's really the villain. But these villains, relatability and likableness without giving them an absolute tragic backstory. Like that one guy with the tattoo on his face, he doesn't have a tragic backstory, His backstory is that he like grew up in the slums or whatever, and he found boxing and it saved him. But his real emotion is that he knows that he's just portrayed as a villain. And he's like, well, I don't really have another chance. I'm not that good. I kind of just have to stick with it, Like, I don't want to be a villain, but I just kind of have to. But it's so cool how it, like, plays with your expectations. Because you first meet him, you're like, this guy's just a villain. This guy's just, like, a bad guy, bad person. And then later, we learn about his relationship with his coach and how he feels about playing this villainous character. And all of that is explored because of you. If you was not in the manga, if you wasn't the main character, and we had, these other characters that you faces as main characters, I honestly think it wouldn't be as compelling. It really wouldn't be. And that's what makes the boxer so great. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about this now because I'm only on 9th, and I got to fucking finish this shit. Alright, next we got my 8th favorite series of all time. Honestly, it's probably going to get down low. We have Kaguya-sama Love is War. My favorite character, can you see him? Can you see him? That's Shirogane, or Shirogane. I call him Shirogane, apparently it's Shirogane, I don't care. Yeah, he's my favorite character. Why, you may ask? Shirogane he's such an interesting character. And he's such like a great character that I respect as a person. Because he's not in a romance series where he's like the secondary main character kind of. Because Kaguya is like the main character. And he's kind of like, he's still the main character. He's just like a secondary main character, if that makes sense. Most of it is towards Kaguya. We don't really get Shirogane, what's his like first name? Miyuki? I'm just going to call him Shirogane. We don't really get Shirogane like focused arcs. We get a lot of Kaguya focused arcs as like the main character, but we don't really get like Shirogane focused arcs, which I'm fine with. I think if we gave like him like a focused arc, it wouldn't be as like even the arcs that are about him, it's always about Kaguya, but he still has his moments. And what I love about him is he's not like he isn't like he doesn't fall into a category of manga trope, if that makes sense. He's not like your classic boy, he's not like your classic like romance, boys romance protagonist where he's like super bland, so the main character, so the reader or the watcher can relate to him. But he's also not like super unique. He shares a lot of relatability with everyone. He just happens to be smart and popular. Um, but I love that he's not really treated as a main character, if that makes sense. They give him quirks and they give him this type of stuff and they give him jokes that don't make him seem like a main character, but they still put him in that main character role. For example, Shirogane has a very weird relationship with his father. He doesn't know, he knows his mother, but she left a while ago. He's very poor. He makes a lot of jokes about, he doesn't want people to know that he reads like manga or whatever, like romance manga, because it's embarrassing. That's not something you typically find in romance. He's a very like fleshed out character. And you don't really see that with like a protagonist. And I think it works because he's not really the protagonist. Like Kaguya is also a very, very fleshed out character. But she doesn't really have like hobbies, Like Kaguya is a very like, I'm in love with Shirogane type character. And there's nothing wrong with that. She's still like a complex character, don't get me wrong. But she doesn't feel like a real person, if that makes sense. This feels like a real guy I could talk to on the street, Like, he has, desires and wants and feelings and sadness and anger and fetishes, and they show all the embarrassing sides to him because the author's not worried about the main character the reader not liking the main character because he's not the main character. But he still like plays such an important piece. He's kind of like Ishigami. I think Ishigami kind of got worse. His stuff got way too repetitive. Like throughout the story, it got way too repetitive. But yeah, Ishigami is like is a character who's basically Shirogane, but like upvoted a lot more, Like, they do kind of animate. Like, he is the classic weeb character. Like, shy character. Shirogane is not really that. He doesn't really fall into a trope. Like, he's not even, like, born smart. He doesn't really have talents. Like, we get so many chapters where he's just trying a new thing out or learning a new thing because he wants to impress Kaguya or he wants to impress the school or he's ashamed of himself. We don't get that with any other character in the story, and it's really respectful. Honestly, to the author, they make Shirogane kind of like this like kind of like they're kind of just like pushing him to see what works, and he like has an entire arc about him trying to rap well, and it's very cool to read. We're just gonna go to the next one. This guy is not gonna take very long. Next favorite series is Blue Lock. This is not very hard. This is Bachira. I don't know if you can see that well. This is Bachira. Bachira is a great character. He's definitely turned into my favorite character after I learned about his backstory. I think what people don't really recognize about Blue Lock's backstories these are people who like we've all seen in real life, if that makes sense. Now, I know what you're gonna say is like, that's fucking crazy. It's not. Okay, let me give you some examples. Baro's backstory is great. I love Baro's backstory. And if you don't know what it is, read the manga. I'm not going to explain it to you. But a lot of people will be like, oh, why does he, act like that or whatever? It doesn't really make any sense. Baro is like how like when we, as kids were like sent when we were like 6 years old to go play soccer or whatever. We like did soccer lessons or whatever at 6 years old and you finish it after like 6 months or whatever. And there's always that one kid who's like really, really good. Most of the time, all the other kids, because they want to win, are just going to send the ball to that kid. The kid who's really, really good. And that's what Baro is. Baro is just the character. It's just the kid who was really good. And he let his ego be inflated by that. And he let his arrogance be inflated by that. That's why he calls himself the king. Because everyone does serve him because of just how talented he is. Especially when he was younger. And he just kind of carried that all through his childhood. And it's basically a character study on real life. And I know Blue Lock isn't that deep, because it's not, but it is just really cool to see how these real life people that you see are actually like connected in a certain way. Bachira, I love Bachira's backstory so much, because literally all it is that he puts so much time and effort and all this stuff into soccer. Like, he puts This basically his backstory when he was a kid. He loves soccer to the bottom of his heart, and he practiced it over and over again, just thinking in his mind, eventually one day I'll have a friend to play with. I'll have someone to play soccer with, to enjoy it with. Because he recognizes that soccer is a team sport. Bachira is one of the only characters who actually recognizes this. Because it obviously is. And he's just like, I just want someone to play soccer with me. I just want someone to play soccer with me. And he just gets better and better and better. And eventually he gets so good that he plays with this imaginary person in his head because he's just that lonely. He just doesn't have anyone to play soccer with. And then it gets to a point where he has all these accomplishments and has all of these, and he has so much of this skill, but he just wants a friend to play soccer with. And that is so sad and so relatable to a lot of people. Like I don't know if this ever happened to you, but sometimes you do something, you learn something because a friend starts doing it and then they fall out of it, and then you're like, well, what do I do, do I just keep going with this? Or sometimes, you're talking with a friend, you get into a TV show or whatever, so you can talk with that friend about it and they start disliking it or something. Or you do something to get people to like you and it doesn't work. And we've all had that before. And it's such a sad thing to realize. And when he finally meets Isagi fills that role of the monster for him. It fills that role. And also the mom of Bachira is such a sad character. Because you can tell that she is trying to not have Bachira be so lonely. She's trying to be a great mom. And she is a great mom. It's kind of like when your mom is she tries to help you, but she doesn't know the reality of the situation. She is just Bachira, no, you're not weird. She's trying to, diffuse the situation. There's an imaginary friend inside of you and all this other stuff. But it ends up hurting him later on in life. Obviously, that's not her goal or whatever. But it's so sad and telling, and I love his backstory. I absolutely love it. It is so good. Blue Lock does backstory super well. They don't make it superly sad. They don't make it overly complex. They just put it out there, and it makes you realize why the characters act a certain way, and why characters do this or do that. Now I basically 100% get Bachira as a character. It takes these characters who are very sub-level, Isagi's obviously the boring blue Kirito looking protagonist. Bachira's always the weird guy, the weird deuteragonist or whatever, the weird side character to the main character. Baro's the angsty rival, kind of like Bakugo. I mean, Raichi's also kind of like Bakugo, but Baro's more a serious kind of character. Kunigami is just a stoic type of character, we have all of these character archetypes in Blue Lock, but but with backstories and how Blue Lock works, and through soccer it explores the characters and it really pushes them. It really pushes that level of simplicity to a more complex, deeper meaning. And I love Blue Lock. That's why. Alright, next we got Slam Dunk. This one's pretty easy. It's Sakuragi. I'm not going to talk about why. I love his character arc. I love his character story. I love how he's just so overconfident that it ends up just working for him in the latter half, even though he's just not very good. The ending part where he high-fives Rukawa, that was so fucking hype. That was so amazing. Actually, the final chapter of Slam Dunk, one of the best, might be the best final chapter I've ever read. So dynamic. So cool, so emotional. The art was amazing. Perfect final chapter. Ending, I didn't really like the ending. I kind of wanted a little bit more after the ending. I would have loved to see Sakuragi in his second year, Or I don't even care about the final match. I just want to see Sakuragi in his second year, or him playing as a professional, or something like that, At least Haikyuu did that, They completed Hinata's story arc. But whatever. Next, for Alice in Borderland, this one's also pretty obvious. It's Akira, the main character. Or not Akira, Erisu. I have Zom 100 on the brain. Oh, excuse me. I have Akira. Alice in Borderland, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about why. I'm just gonna skip to the next one. We will be here for hours if I talk about why. Speaking of being here for hours, next series is Blue Period. What is this, like my fourth favorite? Yeah, my fourth favorite. We have Yutori Iguchi. I feel like this is everyone's favorite character. This guy's so cool. What do I like about this guy? I like everything about this guy. The only thing, no, I love his character design too. I love everything about this guy. First off, he feels like a real person. Like, he parties with people. He insults people. He's not perfect. You know, he hangs out with friends. He makes small talk. He has good conversations. He talks like a regular guy. You know, there's no like, oh my god, I accidentally looked up this girl's skirt and now I'm blushing, you know? Like when he gets compliments, he blushes. He's a humble guy. He has good grades. His character arc is absolutely amazing. One of the best character arcs in manga. His journey of just becoming an artist is so beautiful and so creative. Like, there is, like, I just can't explain it. I can't. It's, oh my god. I think we're just gonna go on to the next one. I love this character so much. Okay, I don't really have a lot to talk about this character. Just go watch my Your Lie in April review. Third favorite series, Your Lie in April. Marine Kitigawa. I think that's her full name. No, that's fucking My Dress Up Darling lady. Oh my god, I can't believe I fucked up. Kaori undergoes surgery as... Oh yeah, Kosei is Kaori. Do I have her last name or whatever? I'm just gonna say Kaori. This is solely just based on the final note. Not the final note as in music. I mean like the note she gives to the main character at the end. Kosei Amira. Akira Amira. I don't remember. Holy hell. I'm just gonna... I don't know if I should read this out, because I feel like if I do, I'll start crying. It is so beautiful. Even looking at the... looking at the old like thing where he's like, I have people supporting me, and he's like playing and he's imagining her like playing the violin, and like she's like moving away. I cried so much, when she died. Spoiler alert. When she died, I felt like one of my own family members died. Okay, she is such a well written, beautiful, amazing. Fucking amazing character, bro. She is such a great character. Especially when she's just like, thank you so much for everything you did. Thank you for letting me play with you. Thank you for letting me experience this. Like I knew I was dying or whatever. Like, just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart at the end. She was just like, I love you so much. Like, you were, like, and then at the end when she's just like, oh my god, was she just like, did I live in their hearts? Please don't forget me. And he's like, I'll never forget you. It's like, did I live in their hearts? And he's like, you certainly lived in mine. I was like, bro, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. This is so beautiful. Like, it really, it hurts, man. Oh my god. And then she's just like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And then he's just like, I should be the one to apologize. Like, bro, turn this camera off, man. I gotta go cry in my closet. Alright. Next we got One Piece. This one was probably the most difficult to choose, because it's like when I ask someone, who's your favorite Straw Hat on the One Piece crew? And they just easily go, oh yeah, it's Nami. How can you choose? I have trouble choosing from not just the Straw Hats, from just the One Piece cast. Like, oh. Oof, excuse me. If you ask me who was a better character, Brook or fucking Rob Lucci, like, who was a better character? Like, I honestly could not answer you. Because Rob Lucci was an absolute amazing villain. Like, such a great villain. But I love Brook. I love Brook. Brook is not my favorite One Piece character. I figured it out. It's Chopper. I don't know if you can see very well. I don't think you can. Chopper is my favorite One Piece character. Why? His backstory. His backstory is so sad. I don't even want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about him. I want to end this video soon. It's getting to 25 minutes. It's going to take forever to upload. Next, Haikyuu, my favorite series, is Tsukishima. This one also was probably the toughest one to choose. The Karasuno team, if you want to be, fucking smart-ass with it, the Karasuno team is my favorite character. But even after the Karasuno team, I still love every other character. I love Oikawa. I love Ushiwaka. I love Goshiki. I love Tendo. I love Hoshiyumi. I love the Mia twins. I love everyone. I love, I don't even know his fucking name. The captain of Inarizaki. I love him. I just forgot about Nekoma for some reason. I love Kuro. I love Kenma. And we haven't even started talking about the actual Karasuno team. Okay? What other characters are there? Bokuto! Akashi! Great characters. Just overall amazing. There's so many characters I could... Oh, don't even get me started on Yukai, Takeda Sensei, what's her name? I forgot her name, the blonde girl who's the second manager, and Kyoko. Don't even get me started on those characters, okay? I love all their characters to death. I recently reread Kyoko's backstory about her being a runner, and I almost cried. I almost shed a single tear. But when I read it first, when I read it before, I was like, oh, it's a good backstory, and I kind of just skipped over it. Like, I didn't really, think about it very much. And then I read it again, and I almost cried, bro. I literally, preparing for this video, I was reading Tsukishima's, block or whatever, and I could not stop reading. I was like, I literally had to physically stop myself from, finishing this volume. I would have read the entire thing again, and then I would have picked up volume 20 and read that one. I had to physically stop myself. Why is Tsukishima my favorite character, though? He does so many... I think he's, the perfect Haikyuu character. He has overall what I think is just fundamentally the best arc in Haikyuu. I don't want to say mathematically, but I'll just say it anyway, mathematically. Because he starts off as this basically an asshole, and he it paces so well. He grows into this mature person, and this scene during the Nekoma match where he's just yeah, once in a while, every so often, volleyball can be kind of fun. The old Suki would never say that. The old Suki would never say that, especially when he becomes an adult and he plays volleyball professionally. Oh my god, bro. My heart. I love that. I love that so much. There are other characters who have absolute amazing arcs, but usually they're side characters, or so they're not paced super, super well. You can't really pace a side character's arc very well because you have to focus on the main characters, Oikawa, we don't see Oikawa for 300 chapters, or 200 chapters, and then we meet him in the time skip or whatever. So you could argue that his arc isn't paced amazing well. There are people who will say his arc is the best and they're their favorite character because they relate to him more, which is perfectly fine. I'm trying to look at this objectively, though, which I really don't like doing when you're looking at something like manga or art in general. I hate looking at things objectively, but I'm trying to, okay? Yamaguchi, also amazing arc, but it's kind of left in the background. We just hear from him that he's practicing. We don't ever see him practice, though. And he kind of just shows up until the author needs the team to score some points. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Amazing moments. Yamaguchi has some of the best moments in Haikyuu. But I wouldn't lie if it wasn't paced absolutely perfectly. Another example, Kenma. Kenma's, I think, is paced amazingly. I think it's basically perfect at this point. And it's really, 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 really good. I don't really have like a flaw with it though. I just like Suki more. Suki is more in the in the presence. We see him like there's like scenes in like the newer games, like some of the newer games, where he's like diving for balls and this stuff, and we can actually see that and process that and be like, and it's so hyped because we all know how far Suki's grown. We don't really get that with Kenma, until the actual Nekoma match. But before that, we only really get one match with Nekoma. And I'm not saying give Nekoma a bunch of matches. I'm not saying that. That would be boring as fuck, honestly. I don't know how long you could do that without making it seem boring. But I'm just like, it's just gonna happen, like you can't really stop it. Okay, this video has gone for too long, 30 minutes. Hopefully the guy who asked for this liked the video. I just released my collection video. I'm gonna film the reading log tomorrow. It'll come out the same day, probably not, but maybe. Stay tuned for the reading log. The collection video is up for 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. Maybe like 200 will do another one, maybe 3. I don't know when. Someone give me an idea when. Because I don't really like doing manga collection videos just because I kind of like when, like my channel, I kind of like to put a spin on things. Like no one ranks covers. I do that with, sometimes I do that with different series. I did it with Haikyuu and Demon Slayer. And I'm planning on doing it with another series. Probably Slam Dunk's probably going to be next. I want to do a shorter series, though, when I do it. Maybe Happiness. I probably will do Happiness. Or, yeah, because it's finished. It's 10 volumes. It'll be easier. I want to do it again, even though they don't do very well. My manga hauls, I don't really like the type where people just, like, put a volume on screen and talk about it. I like the manga hauls where you're, like, opening the box and you can see the person talk about it in real time. That's how I do manga hauls. Now, a lot of people don't really do that. The only person I know who does that is the Dark Sage. And I think Boogie Snacks does that sometimes. But other than that, I just like doing it that way. I don't like doing the other way. My reading logs are always from worst to best, so I rank all the... You don't really see that from other people. Usually it's like by publisher or by, the time they read it or something. I don't really have that with manga collection videos. I can't really come up with anything. I guess the only thing is my collection is sorted out in a way where my first series is, the series first on the shelf is my first ever series, and the last series on the shelf is the series that I just got, I guess it's that way, but I don't really have, like, a certain way I do. I want to be unique with it, I want to do it differently. Like with Slam Dunk, I had the entire Slam Dunk journey of me getting all the volumes, which nobody watched, by the way, but it was, they still, I still, like, had that uniqueness with it. And I did a video about my comic book collection. I just like to, like, do basically, manga stuff. I'm not really going to, like, transition from that. But manga collecting stuff. But I like to spice it up a little bit, How I do my reviews. I don't plan my reviews. Most of the time, I create some bullet points of what I want to talk about, but it's basically all improvisation. And that's most of my videos. Most of my videos is improv. So I'm really good at it. Especially with this. I've never, like, when I'm ranking, like, my top 10 favorite series or whatever, I didn't do it in, like, the way most people do it. I talk very fast and loud and this and that, and I have a very weird way of talking that most people don't really have. I'm just a natural speaker, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. If you have any more ideas for videos, please send me some. Kind of running out. And I'd love to do what you guys want. I think it would be really fun. Hopefully that guy's happy now. This shit's 30 minutes long. I hope he watches it to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, I'm deleting this video. I'm not going to delete this video. Yeah. What's the next video? The next video is going to be the reading log. I basically can promise you that. Or a manga haul. I did a small manga haul. It was like 10 volumes or so. No, it was less than that. It was like 8 or 6 or something like that. I did a manga haul. It'll come up November 10th, I think. That's when I scheduled it. Yeah, that's everything. That's all the volumes. That's all the series. I guess this video is also just for me to talk with you guys. Yeah. I also do, like, the live reading, stuff like that, where I, like, read it with like the time thing, and then I talk about the volume. But yeah, again, like if you have any ideas, I doubt anyone's still watching. But if you guys do have like any ideas for YouTube videos, please just tell me in the comments, cause I will do them. And they seem like a lot of fun. I just don't really have ideas, like I've never thought of this. I've never wanted to do this, but now it was just fun to do it. It was fun to talk about my favorite characters because they're my favorite characters. Unless I got what he was asking wrong, and I'm gonna have to do another video. I'm not doing another video. This is what you get, buddy. Well, I'll do another video. Why not? It's a fun thing. I enjoy making content on this channel because it's just me talking to myself, and who doesn't like that? I love hearing the sound of my own voice. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. In conclusion, I'm gonna read volume 4 of The Boxer, and I'm gonna fucking cry or something. I don't know. All right, bye.